wanted to talk a little bit about my late policy and my summative retake policy in my class. So first of all, the late policy. If it's not in on the date it's due, it's 10%. That is all I will ever take off for something be late. That's it. It's a one-time penalty for not having it due on time, because we move forward, and it's really because I don't think students should get exactly the same grade when they're late, but I also don't think they should fail because they're late. So the way it works is if it's late, it's 10% off when I put in the grade. And then after that, if it's a week late, when I hit the 1 week point, then I will assign detention at every single detention until it's in. That is not intended as a punishment, by the way. That is intended because I feel very strongly that if I assigned it, it was important. And to not give you credit for something, I think is wrong on my part. Especially, maybe you worked on it and just didn't get it done. Should you get a 0? I don't think so. Did you? Well, there's nothing you physically ever bring in, so it's not like you can forget to bring it in. But I just want to make that clear. So it's 10% off, and then you have basically a week to get it in before I'll start assigning detentions. In the 16 years I've had that as my policy, I will let you know I've had 1 detention that I've given out for that. Most students just get it done and get it in, which is the intent. That's why I give you a whole week to get it done. So that's late. That being said, if you turn it in second quarter and it was due first quarter, once the grades are in for the quarter, we do not go back as an administrative policy for the whole school district and change grades, unless you were out of school for 2 weeks and in the hospital, and that's a whole different thing. That's not late in the first place. You have as many days as you were gone to make up that work, and so that's a side. I would give you an incomplete in that case, but for anything else, it's expected to be done on time. That includes vacation. Vacation is not excuse absent. I've had students take vacations and I thought I had another week to get it done. No, that's not true. Anyway, so that's late. As far as my retake policy, most formative things you can always redo. It's totally up to you. Quizzes that are online probably allow you to retake them as many times as you want. The intent there is that I want to make sure you understand the information. And then as far as any other assignment, if you turn in a paper and you get an unfortunate grade on it that you didn't expect, or you didn't understand the assignment, you can always redo an assignment, turn it in again. I will regrade it for you and put in the appropriate grade change. When it comes to tests, it's a little bit different. I'm going to go down and kind of show you, we'll go to Chapter 3 and show you how Chapter 3 works. So down here in Chapter 3, you see, or when you get things done, you will see, here's the Chapter 3 fight, here's the pre-fight skirmish. You have to get a 90% on the pre-fight skirmish, and I'll tell you that in class, hey, the skirmish is due, fight's on Tuesday. If you don't get a 90% on the skirmish before Tuesday, you'll come to class and the fight's not going to be there. The fight will show up as soon as you get a 90%. Meaning that the intent there is that you keep retaking it. You look up those answers. You find the right answers. You call your best friend, whatever, so that you show me you're ready for the fight. And then when you take that fight, if you do have an unfortunate grade, you didn't understand something, as soon as that fight is over, you will see this section down here appear. It says blended assignments and intervention activities. You will see the first one appear, understanding power supplies. And when you do that one, you'll see the second one appear, and so on and so on. And you can see there's 5 different intervention activities. When you've done those 5 activities, they don't take hours. Some of them are watch this 15-minute video and take a 4-question quiz to show that you watched the 4-minute or the 15-minute video. Anyway, you've got those 5 activities you do, and as soon as you finished the last one, you will see the reattack show up. And now you can take that test, the reattack, and that grade or the fight, whichever one is higher, will be the one that shows up in your grade book and in your GPA average. So the intent there is that I don't let you just keep taking a test over and over and over again. But if you do poorly and you invest another 2 hours into preparing for the test, it's just going to show up for you, and it's going to let you take it, and that grade will replace the other one. So I have an automatic retest policy. You don't have to come and ask me. You just have to do those activities. Some of those activities have to be graded. So if you're like, Mr. Poole, number 3 hasn't showed up yet, you need to grade my video response. Oh, thank you. Just shoot me an email and I'll get that, because I check my email all the time. For that reason, you will never get a test in the last week of a grading period that counts in that grading period. So if we're on the chapter 4 and it's 2 days in before the end of the grading period, it's going to count on the next grading period, because I'm going to allow you a minimum of a week to do those intervention activities and retake that test, so the new grade shows up on your grade card. Now, again, I don't go back quarters, so if we take one a week and a half prior to the end of the quarter, you don't do those things, and the next quarter you go, oh, I got my grade card, I got a C, I wanted a B, can I take that test? No, you need to do it while we're still relatively close to that section. And by the way, I review all the tests after we take them. So if you're taking notes on the review, you should do fairly well on the retest, I would hope. So that's the policy. It's just a one-time 10% late, and any summative evaluations have the ability to redo, and really anything does. If you do poorly on something and are like, I really would like to redo that presentation, Mr. Poole, is that okay if I do that? Yeah, I'm going to let you. Sometimes we'll just do it during intervention when it's just the 2 of us. Sometimes we'll just have you record it, and I'll show you how to do that in the class, and do the presentation. There'll be a lesson on that in general. But anyways, that's kind of my thing. I don't think it's important that you learned it the day that, oh, I like you to learn it the day that you had the test, but that's not what your grade in my class is based on. Your grade should be based on whether you learn the material by the end of the quarter, not by that day, not by that weekend. Everybody has events that happen in their lives, and I want to give you as much chance to succeed in my class as I can. And so that's where my policy on all these things came from. So that's it.